Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, and this is going to be a very challenging video, but we have to find the truth of our past, and this is about Napoleon Bonaparte. Before we start this video, let me ask you a very simple question. If the Apollo missions were so easily faked by NASA and of course by Stanley Kubrick, because the moon landing never happened and we had obviously video and TV, do you really think it's that hard to fake history where you don't even have a camera or a video device and just plain text? Think again. So these are very interesting 10 points which effectively show that Napoleon was invented based on the god Apollo. It was literally an invention by the Freemasons or by a bunch of people with interest of hiding the history. So these are the 10 very interesting comparisons which just will blow your mind. Number 1, his name. The greatest mythical solar personification is Apollo. Alright, Napoleon is a construct of Ne Apollon, meaning in Greek the real Apollo, coming from the Indo-European root Apollo, strength and power. As for Bonaparte, it is crystal clear that it's the opposite of Malaparte, as in the ancient curse against the darkness. So Bonaparte is the good part, the light that opposes the night. So Napoleon Bonaparte is simply converted as what? The powerful Apollo who brings the light to the world. Guys, this is absolutely shocking. This is the truth about Napoleon Bonaparte. Second one, his birth. Born in Corsica, an island in the Mediterranean Sea south of France, just like Apollo, who was born in Delos, another island in south of Greece. Both of them Mediterranean and south, where the sun rises. Very important. Number 3, his mother. She was known as Madame Mother, named as Laetitia, from Loetitia, substantive from the Old Latin Loeto. Apollo was born from the goddess of motherhood, again Madame Mother, goddess motherhood, and her name was Leto. So we have that Napoleon Bonaparte mother was Loeto or Laetita, and then we have that Apollo, the Greek god Apollo's mother was Leto. Again, too much of a coincidence. His sisters. Napoleon, this is number 4 by the way, his sisters. Napoleon Bonaparte had 3 sisters, Elisa, Pauline and Caroline, like the 3 Graces, sisters of Apollo, fathered by Zeus. Again, exactly the same thing. Next one, number 5, his brothers. He had 4 brothers, Joseph, Lucien, Louis and Jerome, destined by Napoleon to rule different people of Europe. All became kings or prince. Similarly, the god Apollo had, guess what, 4 half-brothers, Aetilus, Aetolus, Dorus and Opus, destined to rule all people of Greece. Again, it's exactly the same thing. They literally copy and pasted it. This is effectively plagiarism. Plagiarism, guys. They created a false emperor. The ending of his revolution. As Napoleon started his career by ending a revolution, the god Apollo first feat was killing of a python, a giant snake devastating Greece. Revolution comes from revolutus, Latin words to describe a snake rolled on itself. So it is literally an analogy. Napoleon ending the revolution is effectively similarly saying that when Apollo killed the snake, the same thing. Next one, his marshals. Once emperor, this is number 8 by the way, Napoleon's elevated 14 generals to the dignity of marshals of the empire. These guys followed and obeyed him. 12 famous for ruling the multitude of the Grand Armée, the Great Army, 2 of them becoming kings. Alright, so the sun, guess what, it's raining over a myriad of stars, commanding by the 12 zodiac signs. The sun is surrounded by the 12 zodiac signs and the 2 celestial poles. Again, 14 entities. Number 9, his campaign. So the tales about Napoleon's report that he gained initial glory in the sunny south of Italy, and guess what? He was defeated in the winter of Russia, the northern part, the northern Waterloo. Such is the course of the sun, glorious in the south and declining in the north. And the pinnacle of his trajectory is shown effectively at the top in the middle. So guys, this is crazy. The same thing is literally just, again, his whole story is just an analogy to the god Apollo. Number 10, his fate. And last but not least, like we see the sun rising from the Oriental land to rule 12 hours over Europe before settling in the Occidental Sea, Napoleon, guess what, reigned after 12 years, he disappeared. So literally his reign was again 12 years, settling the same amount of time that the sun is in the sky. The same thing. Again, too much of a coincidence, guys. This is just impossible to make up. All right, it's just impossible. So this is my conclusion. My conclusion to this is pretty obvious, that Napoleon is freaking a solar myth. He is a solar myth created by certain societies to effectively create a false history. Now, of course, you can believe he is true. You are free to believe whatever you want, but let me just remind you again one very important thing. They faked the moon landings, which were called the Apollo missions, okay? If they were able to fake the greatest feat in human history, as in going on the moon, do you really believe that they were not able to fake literally textbooks and paintings? I mean, come on. Obviously, it's very possible. But guys, that's it for today's video. As always, I shall see you later in the next one.